Hello there, everyone, and now, oh, whoops, today we're reviewing another part of the Giant Legion Devastator. Yeah, and also I will say the lights are coming. I did get a email saying that from the site I ordered from, they are on the way. They're finally getting shipped because I did buy them in December. No joke, I bought them in December, and they're finally arriving any part of April as I'm recording this. So that might be next month, or maybe a month after. I'm trying to figure out my scheduling since I have more Transformers in my closet. You'll see which one's next month if I get down pad. If I get it down, I just gotta see how it works. Okay. Now today we were looking at GLA 3 and 4. These two are the body of Devastator. I will say I did do the animation from both of these too many times, and trying to get them down is not that easy. I did buy this from the Shochi store for I think 90 something. It depends where you get on which site. This is where it depends, and I will say even for me, I did worry about it, and I do worry about pricing. On certain sites where you buy it or where you buy it, it depends on how much you're paying for it. Now, as you saw with the arms, those were 112 because that's from another store I bought it from. The body I bought from the Shoji store, and that was 84 by itself without tax. And I will say some sites will say it's 112. Or it will say like 100. But then tax included, which I like to do that part to include because I don't want people to think I only paid 88 or like 84, 99, I like to make sure to inform you that yes, you're paying a little more for the tax and shipping included with it. So yes. Now GLA 3 is Hook and GLA 4 is Long Haul. Now I will say the first modes, I was talking about them, but I'm gonna be honest here, they're a bit of a mess due to some of the kibble and the way some of them look. Let's very close look at everything they come with in the packaging. Yes, I go back to this part, especially with these stickers. Let's look. Oh, don't worry. Now, as you can see with the packaging, it shows the robot mode on it. Now, what it looks fantastic. That's the only part I do like. It's hard to get my focus on. Now, like I said, with the robot modes, and on the back of it, it shows the figure modes. I like that part because it does both modes, and it is in Chinese. You can't really read it properly. Packaging is like GLA 1 and 2 foam. Best part about it, I like that. There you go. Slice right off. And you had the figures within the packaging. It is covered too, which is fantastic. Now, these things are massive for their sizings. I will say do that part for the sizings. Now we're going to pull out GLA 3. GLA 3 is Hook. And this one does take its time a lot. Okay, GLA 3 is first. I'm going to call... I know their names on here, which is... Craner and Tipper. So I'll go by that, as usual me. I would say Craner is actually pretty good looking. Not the best mode due to the gaps right here, because that just boasts some part of the rubber mode. As you can see, you can have your fingers stick out of it. Not the best part of it, like I said, but I would say it looks pretty good. It is due to it being a little flawed. Ratchet joints like usual. One thing I will say, I did forget to not do. Let me just voice this down. I think. Let me see. I think just wait. Yeah, wait like this. This is a point of do you want to get this figure or not due to this part sticking out of it. Now that's one of the joints for the arms. Yeah, it is a slide on for the arms, which I will show off when we get to the top part of it. This is this is the first part Devastator body, top body. Long haul is the at the bottom part, the legs and the ab section. The crane is a ratchet. This part, the spinning part over here, is not ratcheted, but it does spin pretty good, and it is very tight. And this thing does extend pretty far out, actually, which is kind of surprising. So it is from here to here, so a bit outside the box, which is pretty good, and it does go down. There's not much articulation with it, which I do find to be okay with because I do like that part. And that's really what I'd say about it. I do like the blue on it for the windows because I do like how it looks because I don't like if it's clear. Clear plastic, I do have a problem time, but I will say this mode is not that bad. Now let's take a close look at some size comparisons that I will probably do. Now here's BoDleasons 2 mixer. Oops. BoDleasons 2 mixer is pretty good next to it, and having all four of them together, which is pretty nice. And here is loader. Now let's look at other official parties and one third party I also have. Now here's the third party Scourge. It is pretty the same size as Scourge, which is pretty fantastic. This figure I did review. Go watch that review. It's actually pretty good, and I forgot what type about it. And also here is Legacy Galvatron. They also did release a 6 version, but it's the same figure technically, but a little more dark purple, a little more lighter purple or dark purple. Purple. Canon does make it stick out a little more. Now let's do the transformation for this. Trust me, is that what we're doing to the robot mode. Okay, we're gonna do GLA 3 Craner transformation to robot mode. This one is a little more confusing because it is the top part of the Devastator. Now make sure the low crane is out of the way. Make sure the things are pulled out and to the side. You don't need them until later. Do the same thing to the other side as well. Now, what we need next is get the arms out, pull them out, and fold these down, which is necessary to make it like a gap filler. It does fill up the gap right here for a reason. There you go. And then on this part on top, you see, fold this down once to get the head out. And it does not snap into place, which is kind of an issue. Then you put the arms upwards, and then you rotate the arms one more time at the elbow. Fold these downwards too, or so they're straighter. Now, we don't do anything else, and I want to say until now, because you do need to do, okay, fold this down 3 times or 2 times, depends on what you're looking at. Which I know I was in this cluster hell of what this figure is. Okay, there we go. Now, this is how we're going so far. Now we're going to do legs. Legs are the most simplest and complex thing you will ever see so far in this figure. Now, let's do one leg at a time. Pull this part out, pull this part from the leg right here. This is what's in the end of the leg, right? And then right here, pull the leg out carefully so it distends. And you will see a little plug that needs to go into this thing right there. And then extend it kind of because you need to do a gap filler to fill in these areas. it should fill in the gaps right here. But it is a little wonky. And make sure this thing, like you said earlier, or I said earlier, pull it down and close it up. The foot is right here. Now rotate that down. Make sure it snaps into place. This figure does have issues when it comes to snapping in together. Boom. Okay, there you go. Okay. Now get a part separator. Get the same one I have. And open the foot up like that from the top and the bottom. Standing on the other foot. Okay. Extend, pull carefully. If not, you may pull out one of the parts that is important. Okay, there we go. And there we go. Gap filler again, which is necessary. Close this on up. Same thing. Foot again. And this will chip away your paint, which I don't like. I'll be real here. And like I said, that's the most simplest stuff done. And when you fold these down, which I would say highly recommend do, fold the entire top body in. It should snap into place, but this figure doesn't want to snap in sometimes, especially right here. And there you go, you have Craner. Okay, and it should be put in the foot, which is a little frustrating due to it. There you go, Craner. Little weird, but it's a little not the best thing out of this figure. Okay, now let's talk about about the robot mode, and then we'll get into the top body mode. Now my favorite part about this figure. As you can see, the transformation for this guy is kind of not the best. I'll be real here. Due to one thing I don't like is the feet. These you need to push this part in first, or sorry, the back foot need to go back, be in here, and then you fold this over. But then when you take it out, and I swear, I don't like the feet for this one reason. You need to pop this part out first, then get this part out. This is the only part I don't like about the feet. Because you need like something small. I have a part separator that I bought from AliExpress, and it does pretty good to get it out. But over time, it scuffs up. I got some markers I can use to fix up the coloring on these again, which I'll probably do that. But that's my only point of I don't like that part. It scuffs up easily. The paint on it is actually pretty good, but like everywhere on the body, like the head, the head, thighs, everyone here is actually pretty good. But when it comes to the feet, these are the only part I don't really like because the paint on it is, I think, a little too weak. They're not, I wouldn't say they're not weak, but a little too cautious. To be cautious about that part. And one part to be cautious about, and don't forget this part, when you gotta connect this and this part of the leg, which thankfully I get to pop open. Okay. So I'm gonna show you real quick. I'm gonna pop that off, and this is the only part I do worry about. It's in the foot, because this is kind of a problem I think this has. The thing is, when you got pop these in, it will do that. So you need to, if I can look above right here. So when you got to put it in, you got to push it in, and this part right here within that part will like to pop out, especially up here. Up here, it like to pop out. So that's the only part I do not like about the leg. And do not forget to cover the gap up, because if you not, it's gonna cave in on itself. If that makes any sense. But soon you get everything in correctly fit, close everything up, it is pretty good. It stays in place. That's the only part. It's the legs in general. It's the only part I do worry about and concern. Now, the entire robot mode is, I will say it's not bad looking, but it is heavily flawed due to a lot of reasons. It is decent looking. I don't know if it's G1 Agri, but trying to do G1 Agri version of Devastator is pretty much not that easy due to the back of the figure. Trying to get a flat back without having so many tires showing or having something like this. This is not the worst back I've seen on a Devastator, and I will say it does hold itself up. I will say that part. It does hold itself up. And this still does rotate, but like a full 360, which I think is pretty decent. The only part I really wish that did more better is these little things. These are metal, and it is very co-touching here. It is co-touching, so that's actually pretty good for the material. I will say these parts do like to cave in or do that. That is not on purpose. It just does that for some reason. I don't know why, but I were to ratchet it in. The articulation wise, head is on a ball joint, but I will say this still had the same light effect. It'd be easier to have a lower weapon. Same lab effect, pretty good, decent. This one more easier because this one uses like this little spring thing, which is kind of annoying. The weapon is pretty good, and I will say when you do connect these weapons together as its own thing, which I think you're meant to. I do have all the weapons, ish. I have all 4 of them. There's 2 more on the way. I would say it look pretty good. When it does the shoulder, it is covered up better than Mixmaster. This one I do like more better due to it. And it does cover the butt up, which is kind of strange, but it does that, so do what you want with that detail. Articulation wise, this also is a point of a problem. It likes to pop off. Even if you push down on this, it still want to pop off, which is not the best thing for a figure. So be cautious with that when you play with this thing, if you want to play with it. So, arm, I'm going to hold it down for a reason. Arm is on a rotation. I will go out this far. The hand is actually on one of these. Now that's for 2 reasons. One, for the Devastator mode, and because you could do probably a little more. This is annoying. I'm be honest. It's annoying to see this thing pop off once in a while. Oh, my lighting. Let me put my lighting again. The head is on a ball joint, like every other for every characterism. The leg go out this far, kicking forward, and the skirt does move upwards and downwards, and move. Yeah, so you need to connect all of this into this. Let's move this carefully, and then come back this far. This butt flap thing does get in the way of it going fully, which is fine. But the knee is ratcheted to at a 90-degree angle. Pretty good, which I think is pretty good for a kick. Can't go past it, which is decent enough for me. This is not ratcheted. Certain parts of it, it's only the knees I know that are very ratcheted. These aren't, which is kind of strange for a figure. The feet are on kind of this kind of joint, where it does open it up right here, and it just hides certain parts about it, but shows off a lot more. It is pretty good in certain movements. I'm not going to transform these. They're going to be another like 6 years to transform into, but it can make the feet flat. Size comparisons, because I like to do this part. Here is Grimlock, which he's a good sample of how to do a leader class properly. They're about the same size, which is pretty decent. I gotta hold the camera. Here is Optimus Primal from the Netflix series. And here's the Yellow Park Optimus Primal. Apron on him. I swear I explained that part in previous videos. I probably need to get him in a better stance. He is so freaking loose sometimes. I worry about him dropping. So yes, let's get into the last mode of him. I don't like this mode because it's a little redundant. It's This is why you need Duty for this reason. Let's look at it. Now we're going to do the top part of the body, and I would say it's a little more complex. I will say that part. Flip the crane around. It'd be easier to do that. Flip this part around heavily first, and then one thing I would say do is this first. Get the joints out of the way, so you don't need to worry about them as much. So same thing. Flip that inside of the variable. Get the area. Because you do need to flip this out again later when it comes to the arms. Yes, it does have a really weird complexity. Now, unhook the arms from the side of this. So these are still needed. Keep them straight. Okay, there you go. Okay. And everything in the back is still the same. I mean, let's see, it's... Shit, I hope I did that part. Ooh, I made a cut on that one. Okay, anyways. Now, have all this way. This is the most simplest out of everything here. Now, the feet are supposed to be the neck part of the Devastator. This part is going to need a lot more effort. Now, think of it like you're going to fold the legs out. Okay. It should be easy to disconnect everything if you know what you're doing. Okay, so maybe just grab these parts and have them out, and then pull this part like this. There's a reason for it. Now, fold this part inside of there. This part, pull the legs part like this. It is a struggle. However, you get it working, you get it done right. Now, you need to push the head through, which is, I want to say, not the funnest thing. Now, what you need to do is pop that part, pull it out, and there you go. Now, it should be easy on from this part onwards. Fold these up, just in case. And yes, like I said, everything, it's most simple as like it should. Make sure this joint thing is like this. Then you just fold it back if you can. Oh wait, I actually forgot one thing here. So one thing I did forget to mention is that this part right here. So fold these downwards. Okay, fold this down, and then get these little gap fillers right here for the rib section. Pull them upward so you have more space. And I am burning up right now. Sorry if I am speeding through it because it is really hot in my office. I don't have a fan in here. I need to buy one for my office right now. So keep it like this. And then you pull, like I said, all this way. There you go. Same thing on the other side. Sorry about that. Pull, like I said, all this. Okay, there we go. So this would be like this. Now, what you need to do next is there is this part right here that you need to connect, and it is like a rail. So soon as you basically move this backwards, you need to find the row section of it. Okay, there you go. You can find it. There you go. And then move it down, which should make it more easier. It is a bit of a struggle, but you can find the running of it. There you go. And push on it. It should work. So you get that down pat. It should look like this and not this, where you got a gap right here. There you go. Now, what you need to do next, open these up again. Yes, I know it's a little annoying. I'm going back to the step. Now, fold the arms downwards. Yes, the arms. And push that in. It should put into the peg. When you do that, it should connect evenly. And it is a bit of a struggle in certain areas of this, yes, I will say. There you go. And these parts right here. So these should connect into that, which is a light push. It should be light push. Okay. Sometimes it's a bit of a struggle to readjust it, basically. It is readjusting it. Okay. Okay. Shoot. Okay, there you go. And you should fold this thing into the neck region right here, or the back of the neck. Now, there you go. You get the top part Devastator. None of this had to do anything yet until we get to Tipper one. Now, let's talk about this mode, and it's a pain in the butt. Yeah. Here's the top part of Devastator. Yes, I know it looks so random to see this. But like I said, you need this part to help this part. I'm going to keep it like this when it comes to this mode. I'm not going to transform back because it's a nightmare transform. I will say for the top half of Devastator, which let me pull this up, it is not that bad looking. I like how it looks. And also, it does have batteries within the head. So, yes, it does also glow. And it does have the glasses too, which I think look okay. They're not the best looking for me. I don't like them as much. And the batteries are within the head of it too. As you can see, the head is right here. And you can put in the battery right here. It is actually pretty simple. This part does like pop off once in a while. I find that kind of annoying when we're here. This part is also I think it might be like this because you are meant to put on top of this one too. And it does uses the crane as well for its scope. Yes, it is literally what it is. I will say there's not much articulation, and when you do get the arms, yes, when you could put these in in the alternate mode, it does fit. This is just what this does. And I will show you when we get to that mode, I'll have the arms transformed. But you see, you can hear that. Click, 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 click. And it's a very good fit. You will see what it looks like with with all four parts. Soon as the lights come in, we're going to see that mode too. And you will see the head of Hook down here as well, and same thing, unscrew that part, which is not that easy as I'm aware. It's not that easy, but yes. It looks pretty good. It's pretty decent looking. The only thing I did see with the full Devastator, I did see the full images with everything on it, with the legs. It is very, at the back of it, it has a lot of tires. I don't mind that part. Tires are the only things I don't really care about on this thing. And from what I know, you're meant to slide this in. But yet again, it can be pushed so far. Certain parts of this have their limits. You can't push it too far if also you're gonna snap it down. But I will say the back of it is pretty fine looking. I've seen way worse, and you're meant to have these push in, but these things are a little hard to push in sometimes because of it. But because I will say tires of it, it's not that bad. Now let's look at LiQWDY next. Here's LiQWDY. Now I will say his ultra mode is not the best. This it's very doesn't cover up so well. That's the only thing I don't like about it. It has a lot of uncovered spots. Under here, it's not that bad, but you can see the weapon. There is weapon storage right here. And I will say it does cover up. Weapon basically also has a magnet within it. Yeah. Now I will say all the tires on these are all rubber, which makes sense. They need to be. But as a long haul, it's pretty good looking. I will say I do like this part of it where it does use the joint of the arm for the thing fan right here. I do like that. I do like it's very detailed of like the what do you call it? Parts of it, of like the actual vehicle, and you do need to put this on to the side and you put on. Very detailed looking. I really wish this painted, but I'll do that myself. And it does work pretty good due to the size of it being massive. Now here's GLA 1 and GLA 2. Yeah, I'm not going to transform GLA 3. That's too much work, and also I'm going to use this in the mode for this reason. Okay, there you go. Here is Galvatron. And here is Third Party Scourge. I know he's backwards, but I've been. It's for 11:30, 12:30 for me right now. Now, I think it looks pretty good. It's not that bad looking. I've seen way worse figures. But these parts do like to pop out, which is a little annoying, but I can understand why, because you do need to pop these out due to the transformation purposes. But I will say that is also a problem when it comes to what it isn't. And these parts are metal for some reason. I'm not joking. These are random pieces of... they're metal for some reason. But there are for one reason or another. It is good for the leg mode. Or waist mode, I guess you want to call it. Bottom half of the Devastator. Now, let's transform it. Okay. Now for Tipper, we're going to do the transformation to the robot mode, which is kind of simple for me. Okay, pop these out, which is pretty simple. This is for legs. Pop that, so make sure to the side. I did that one, okay? Okay, rotate this. Yeah, we do a lot of rotating on this here. Okay, there you go. Rotate it one more time. This is for the legs. Fold the feet down. Now fold these into the legs. Well, should. And there's weapon. There you go. It shouldn't be stuck like that, but it works. Because you're about to pull this up. Now this is for the top part of the body. Now this is the top part or the front part of the truck. Now, as it shows on the box, it should look like this. Understandable. Now flip this up right here, the cock region. This you don't need. You need it in the back of the truck. Which is understandable because you need to rotate all this and it'd be easier. Have the arms out. Fold this outwards. Shit. And we gotta point these. You need to be upwards. So that means to be easier when you rotate them. Rotate the arms right here. Well, and then all this right here. You just need to connect it because it shows right here. Connect these two right here. Push it in if you can. It's a little bit of a struggle to push it in there. If it goes in, it goes in. Then the next part is the most easiest thing. Get this above all this part, which is not fun. Okay, there you go. And then these parts right here should connect right here. There we go. And now you should have the chest part right here. Well, upwards in it. So make sure it connects inside. Make sure this part connects inside right here too. So it's just connecting things. And it goes under the arm as well. So it should go in. There you go. And then it should be easy to rotate everything you just did backwards. Carefully too, because I'm worried about this plastic. Okay. There you go. There you go. Just snap in. And if it does snap in, don't check everything. Okay, there we go. Snap in. You don't snap in, these side parts don't snap in, which I don't really mind. They're not a problem. And there we go. hulking and massive. There you go. That's the robot mode, and we'll talk about it. Here is long haul. Julie 3. I think he is fantastic, and he is pretty bulky for the size he is. I will say he is very bulky. I will say it does show like this, but other things show like this of filling the gaps in. It depends on where you look at it. I would say I do like it in. I do like when it fills in. Fills it in. Because I think it looks fantastic. I'll be right here. That's one thing I like it for because it looks it's good when it covers up. The head is already. I think it's looked pretty good for what it is. And also the head, yeah, it's the same exact thing. It glows, but I think it looks pretty good. It's not bad looking. Like I said, the arms being different, I think it looks pretty good, and I think and it makes it all different compared to having it as like it looks the same. Kind of with like Julie 1 of the front being the same with the feet, which I do like the little difference on that. And as you can see, it is very tire heavy, if you could say like that, in this form. But I don't mind it. That's the thing, I don't mind it. I think it was pretty good, and I think the backpack of it, I can understand people may or may or may not complain that it is too bulky. But yet again, you are looking at a figure that is not the easiest to do. Because if you look at the live action movie, it didn't do the best when it comes to Devastator, because I think it was made out of like 8 Transformers, if I remember correctly. But that's really it, though. I'm not complaining about it. I love it. And I do have one of them actually in my closet because they barely reissued the figure. I got one part of it. I will do that when I have the timing down. The articulation, ratchet heavy. Very ratchet heavy. But due to tires being here, it does limit the articulation within the legs. That's the only part. It does stop it from going 90. Even though I feel like this is almost a perfect 90, you can't push it too far, which makes sense. It's so ratchety too. And move the arm up. It goes out that far. It does use this kind of joint for transformation purposes too. Just be careful. When you do it, just be careful because I'm worried about the plastic breaking on me. I can tell you, I don't want that to happen. Arm is a rotation, but due to the back of it, you can't get a full rotation. But that's fine. That's the only thing is you don't get a full rotation due to the back of it. If the back was more smaller, I can see a full rotation. The arm is double jointed, which is actually pretty good. Well, actually, no. It's not actually. I thought it was. But it does have enough. The hand is on a ball joint or a swivel. Same thing with both arms. Head, ball joint. The weight is actually pretty good. I will say the only part I do say be cautious about is when you rotate this, you may smack into these parts. That's the only thing is you may hit these parts as how they are. So that's a little weird and a little concerning because I worry that if you do too much, you may break these parts off. They are very good when it comes to coloring, which is not that bad. That's the articulation on this thing. It's actually pretty decent. And also hit the weapon for it. I would say it's okay looking. Nothing to stand with every guy. This thing can stand for hook. And you are meant to connect all the weapons together. I have I could do like ones on here. But I will have weapons together when we get the legs. But trying to get them to stand straight is not the easiest due to these parts and tires rubbing together. I will say it's a little hard to get them down. Now, let's do some size comparisons because I think I do that part now. Here is Grimlock. Grimlock is a pretty good sizing. He's a little more taller, which I think is a pretty good sizing for what you're paying for. Here's Primal, Forger class. And here is Primal again for Yellow Park. Let's get to the last mode of it, which is kind of simple. I will say, because they're not much to transform from this part. But I'll put it back into truck mode. There's a reason for that, because I find it less annoying. Okay? Okay. Yes, you gotta turn back in truck mode. Yeah, I have done this so many times. So, what you need to do is disconnect everything you just basically did, which is thankfully easy. Rotate it around. So basically, you're gonna make the legs again. Put the feet out again. It's pretty much the same stuff you did before. Make sure these are out too. There's a reason why. Fold these back in. Now fold these into itself. And then all of this will need to be rotated. Yes, it's for Devastator. These don't pull out until later, okay? Fold everything like this outwards. Had this part up here. There's a reason why. Don't rotate all this again. Fold this little thing up. Fold this downwards. So you made the little guard. This part, not the fun part, but I had to do myself. Rotate all of this like this. So the arrows are pointing this way. Rotate it again, the entire waist, then flip the legs around, which is thankfully not a struggle. And you put everything back the way it was. Now, you don't do anything with this part yet, because the top part is already done for you, since you did it earlier. Congrats, you're not stupid. But it just folds here. That's why Craner was for this reason. Fold this out. Well, actually, before you do that, lift this part of the guard, or the entire leg part, basically. Yes, you gotta pull it and shift it upwards. Now, as you can see, this part needs to be in that part. So, connect it upwards. There you go. Now, same thing on the other leg. I like to straighten it out so it's easier to deal with. Now, as you can see, connect it upwards again, yada yada. And rotate that, or actually when you do, put this into the shin. So it's a double layer, which makes it easier, so that means you're not dealing with a struggle later. And since if you have the legs, you could just fold these in, so you could put the legs in. I don't have the legs, so it could be like this for now. Here's your body. Or torso, which I think it looks pretty good looking. Now let's talk about it. Now, here's the bottom part of the Devastator. I mainly did the waist and the bottom half. I will say it looks pretty good, and the legs of this are backwards. Yeah, I will say it is kind of weird that it is backwards, but I'm gonna be honest here, I think it looks pretty decent. And yeah, you remember this piece being up here, well, up here, which is kind of cool because it's kind of cool the way it looks. Now, I will say the legs are a little more spread out, as you can see from the back of it. I would say from the back it's more easier, and I always see the arms. That's not the part I like to see. It's a hand, but what's they can do? But I will say it's the stance of it more wider, well, compared to the original version. Same leg articulation. It just everything the same about this. All the very differences is the arms folded up again, and and put it back in. Okay, here goes back in. The only part that really doesn't want to sit together is just this part. Even if you put it in properly, it still is not the best thing. And this part, it's a little too flappy for me. But but this is the skirt piece or front skirt, I think it was pretty good. As you can see, what the joint is, a swivel. But it does mean to let go up that high and go back this far. And goes out that far, and the legs are basically the same again. So let's connect GLA 3 and 4. I'm gonna have to scoot back a bit. What you need to do is have these down, because you need to have everything basically out of the way, so you can slide everything in, and I mean literally slide it in. That way, so like this part right here is kind of not the best because it doesn't want to go in all the way. Even though there is pretty much good clearance, which still makes no sense. Okay, now like I said, sure everything goes in properly. There's only part that is not the easy to get done because you do need to worry about putting it in. But I will say, some people say that it's easier when you have the top part of this one a little popped out. Okay, there we go. So just basically just disconnect this part because it makes it a hell of a lot easier. Okay, frick me. Frick. There we go. Now slide this forward. Basically, you just basically disconnect it. And that's the part I don't like because you gotta disconnect something to basically connect this. Make sure this goes in. I will say I wish that part was a little more fluent when you gotta put it in. And make sure it goes in like this. And okay. This is where it's not the funnest part because you need to figure out how to slide it in so much more. And as they turn it from the back, it's not much easier. But when it goes in, it'll go in. I only got one side in. This trying to connector thing is so stupid because it doesn't want to go ahead of time. But this part not going in as much is so annoying. It makes it so stupid. I'm really hot right now in my office, so yeah, it makes it even worse right now because it is so hot right now in Georgia. So keep all this like this and have patience because when you have patience, it does more getting better. There we go. Okay, there you go. And slide in. It's just so stupid to push. Oh, sorry. I'm literally doing all this one-handed too, so it makes it even harder. Okay, that part's going going, but not this part doesn't. Jesus. Okay, it should probably be put in. It's just a little frustrating to deal with because of it. Because it's like moving this part, that part the way, make sure that part is connected, make sure this part's going in properly, that part's going in, and it just, some parts just, you know, connecting, rearranging, and where else is going. Okay. Slide, and you fat bastard. Okay, there we go. Okay, when you slide it all in, it does get more easier from here. Like I said, easier? I mean, it really does get easier from here now. Basically, just reconnect the body. So move the arms up. Get off this. There we go. certain parts are not easy to fit in, and I do worry about some of the plastic. So there you go. Put all this like this. Get the hands into place, which means you need to basically have everything in the correct spacing. Okay, put the hands in, put them in there. There you go with that. Same with this hand, put it in. Connect this part, like I said, on GLE 3. And it should connect like that. This should connect in like this. There we go. Got the right part. Okay. Okay, there we go. And then have this little thing connected in that, which is also not the easiest because it tends to pop out. Just slide it down. There you go. You had the first top part of Devastator. I will say it is massive when you add both parts, but it's so much of a hassle to put together. But when you put the arms on it, okay. Okay, frick goes in. It is really big just for being 4 parts in and now having legs with it. I mean, I will need to grab my table I have next to me with it. Now, I will do some side comparisons. Here is Voyager Primal. He looks like a child, and the hands can literally hold a leg. And when you do guys one together, and also magnetize, I will say do not have a magnet near your camera. Not a good idea. Inside of them. It is everything to figure out with it. Okay, yeah, here it is. Have these parts. Turn them around. And this is the grip of it. I will say I did not learn that until earlier this week. So this is a grip of it. And then everything else, I don't know where these go. I'll be right here with you. These go somewhere else, but you need the other 2 parts to connect to make the weapon, which is kind of annoying. I'm gonna be right here, but it looks pretty good. And like I said, people I would say not that many people have claimed that it is too many tires you see back here, but it's not that bad. I've seen much worse kibble on official ones, and I will say it's not that bad. And it's very stable. I will say it looks top heavy because you can weight the arms, you get a weight of the topper body. It is pretty stable for once. But oh god, I'm fucking losing time doing this. These legs, they're supposed to be like this, if I remember that correctly. And I was trying to hold this was so hard to do. And yeah, I think it's actually pretty good for it looks. Yeah, so I'm gonna put this down. It feels like this thing's very heavy for what it is. So let's get to my final thoughts on this. I'm gonna hold that to this, okay? Now, for having this thing in hand for basically months on end, I will say having 4 parts, not in having legs next coming up to it, I am excited to finish this thing for how behemoth of it is. And I will say it is the size of a toddler right now. When you have legs to it, it is pretty much even more of a toddler. The size of a house cat, basically. I lived with cats before, so I would know. But for only having 2 parts, let's be right here, boom. Okay, there we go. But only having 2 parts of the upper body, I think it looks fantastic. And for what it has, and I think it looks pretty good. Blocky, which I do like how it looks. It's very blocky. I love how it looks. It's so much more better than I expected. And I will say, when I get the legs, I'm excited to have everything together in one run. So I can have a big Devastator for my office. Whenever that comes out. The legs are going to be here soon. Hopefully, because they finally shipped out. So, what do you think? Will you pick up these 2 parts of Devastator and do be cautious of certain points I did point out. That's where you guys need to look of how are you going to, how much we're going to pay for it. That's up to you though, not to me. I'm just simple like y'all. So, have a good day, y'all. Everything is in my link tree, which will be in the description of the video, in case you know where I am on social media or anything like that. Peace out.